Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come in, come in, come in. This is Tamika's Den. I am Tamika. Get on in here, y'all. Get on in here, okay? Kick off your shoes and relax your feet. You are now in the den. So this is my review recap for Queen Sugar. You know, Never Be the Same. Season 7, Episode 8. Child, let me tell y'all, I was holding my breath this whole episode, y'all. I was holding my breath. I don't know about y'all, but I was like, I cannot breathe. I cannot tweet. I cannot talk. I cannot do anything until I see what the heck is going to go down up in here. All right. We got Ralph, he's still upset, going through the motions. We got Darla scared, picking up, sensing that something is going on. Then we got, of course, the back end of this storm that we are trying to find out and make sure that everybody is okay and they made it through. We got Va getting some news, things from the past creeping up, things that we have to face and choose whether, we want to say these last words that we need to say or whether we just want to leave it alone and let people go straight to hell where they belong, all right? So let's go ahead and get into this episode, y'all. We start out the episode with Micah and Ralph Angel basically coming home. Darla standing here with baby True. She like, I was starting to get a little bit worried. Is everything okay? He's like, yeah, I'm good. They say it was a little rough, but we all made it through. We all here together. It's fine. Ralph over here talking to his baby girl. But she immediately could pick up that something is going on. Micah come over and say hi to her, whatever. She's asking, did they get the boards up? They like, yeah, it was fine. We got everything up. We managed, and immediately after they walk in and they're saying this, they get a call from Mr. Cordell. And, apparently his house really took a rough hit from the storm, okay? So they're trying to get over here and, help as much as they can because the farm is flooding. And so Darla's like, okay, well, I need to go check, at the mill first. But he's like, nah, we should stay together. So, of course, this is already piquing her, making her spidey senses tingle, like, what is going on? And so, Micah says, yeah, that makes sense. We'll all go in one car. And then she says she's going to see if Miss, Olga could go ahead and sit with True. And he's like, all right. And Micah tells him, like, as soon as she walks out, you need to go ahead and talk to her. And he said, well, I am going to talk to her, but we can't do anything about it right now. He was like, I'm handling Micah. Don't worry about it, right? He said, we got to handle like one tragedy at a time, right? Or one catastrophe at a time. And so he tells him he going to take care of it. And Micah's like, okay, okay. But Micah looking at you with the side eye, Ralph Angel. And so am I, And so... you know how they do. We all gonna form together and we're gonna try to go help as much as we can and see what we could do. So they all are gathering and, working as hard as they can to make stuff come together. In the meantime, Darla keep looking at Ralph Angel like, what is going on? Because everything she say she want to go do, she made a suggestion when he was saying, when they was talking about lunch that Va go ahead and set up the lunch at her restaurant. And she's like, sure, no problem, of course, And he wants Va to keep a real close eye on Darla. And she's like, I got her. I won't let her out of my sight. Now, in the meantime, when they get to the restaurant or diner, oh, I getting a call, honey. They talking about, this is hospice. And she like, hospice, And then she's hearing how it's about Jimmy Dell. They have her as next of kin, have her on the emergency list. And she was like, no, child, okay, it shouldn't be me. I don't got nothing to do with this man. Please don't transfer me. I don't want to talk to him. But the lady's already in the process of transferring her to him. So I'm like, isn't that ironic, right? It would be where this man that has done all these horrific things is basically still dependent and expecting, probably never even crossed his mind and, just still basically had her on the list for her to be the one that's supposed to deal with things now that he's all jacked the heck up. And so, Va was saying that she's not involved in all of that, right? And she's absolutely not a next of kin. But like I said, they pretty much was not really listening to anything she was saying and still transferred him to him anyways, to her anyway, I should say. So, of course, as soon as they get on the phone, she like, what the hell do you want, Jimmy Down? Now, in the meantime, Ralph Angel is moving like he a damn robot child. Like they done put a battery pack in his back. He's going full speed, doing stuff crazy quick. He's yelling, y'all, come on, come on, come on, come on. We got to do this. Why y'all standing around? Come on. And, Mike is being very concerned about him, as he should be. He's literally asking him like, Ralph, are you okay? Okay, because he's never seen him like this before. And Ralph is not even answering him. It's like Micah might as well be talking to himself. He asking him like, Ra, you good? You good? And Ralph just looks at him all out of breath and sweaty and stuff like that. And he was like, yo, uncle. And he's just still trying to pull this, wheelbarrow on his own and going mad hard. And so Micah's definitely concerned, right? And then you got Billy and Nova talking, and she's saying, she was still in shock when she opened the door and seen Calvin standing there. She giving Billy the breakdown of everything that happened. And she was like, wow, after all this time, he just shows up like that. And she was like, how were you feeling? And, Nova was saying like, I actually feel good. I'm very proud of myself, And she was like, shoot, I bet you are, whatever. She was like, this is huge. And Nova was saying like, yeah, it's even more than the fact that, she was able to face him. She actually was able to stand her ground, to keep her promise, to actually, give this honesty to him or whatever, right? And not cheat, not fall into what he was saying or whatever the case may be. Stay true to herself, stay true to Dominic, honor her relationship. She was like, this has always been something that's been hard for her or whatever, that she struggled with for most of her life. So she really feel like she accomplished a lot, that she didn't fall into it, and that she set her own boundaries and stuck by it. And Billy was like, hell yeah, girl, that's good. I'm proud of you too. She was like, so are you going to tell Dominic about this? And she's like, I am. I don't see any reason why, I shouldn't or whatever, right? I might as well be honest with him and let him know everything that went down. I said, well, do you really have to tell him, Nova? I'm all for honesty, but I don't know, girl, I guess. So, she was saying that, yeah, she didn't see anything that she had to hide about it or whatever, right? And she would tell him, and she just was like in a really good place, in a really good mood with seeing that, she made the right decision or whatever, feeling really great about herself. And so she basically was like, well, how did you work out with Miss, Sandy? And she was like, actually, I worked out pretty good. And me and Benny ended up falling asleep on the couch. So she was like, what? Wow, really, And she was like, girl, I ain't mad at it. She was like, no, don't get me wrong. Billy said nothing happened. We just talked and we just ended up falling asleep. So I guess, Nova knows a little bit about Benny's background. So she was like, really, Benny? Okay, girl, if you say so. And she was like, no, actually, he was the perfect gentleman. He's really sweet. He was really nice. She was like, but what's funny is that the more time I'm spending around these other guys, the more time I'm actually thinking about my boo thing, and really just, having him on my mind all the time or whatever the case may be, right? She is thinking about Vince all the time. And so, Nova told her, like, that's really not that crazy at all. It's letting you know that you're working through some things and that, no matter what, your heart will lead you where you're supposed to go. It's like you're going on this great adventure and eventually, you just follow it and you're going to get to the right place. It's going to take you where you need to go. So I said, okay, I can hear that. So now, as they in the middle of this conversation, you got Aunt Vi come out. Dollars out here. She trying to help and set up the tables. And Vi is saying to her, like, Billie Jean, we need to talk for a minute. Can you come over here and sit down? So she like, oh, don't tell me something happened to my dad. And she like, no, girl, Prosper's fine. But this is a conversation me and you need to have. And so they go over to the booth. Of course, this guy Nova looking too. Like, what the heck is going on? What she want to talk to her about? So she starts to tell her about Jimmy Dell, about the fact that she got the call from this hospice. And, here come Nova hurrying up, walking over like, what about him? What the hell is his ass doing now? And Vi was like, he's dying. And so Nova sits down next to her and she was like, they called me from the hospice and, apparently he still had me on his paperwork. In the meantime, Darla over here looking too. So she was like, more than likely he's not going to make it through the night. And Nova had kind of like, just touch her, trying to show support. And she was like, oh no, baby, I'm fine. She was like, at the end of the day, I said everything that needed to be said, did everything that needed to be did. With that mean is that I have my closure, whatever the case may be. And I don't know what he was thinking about still keeping me on the emergency list. But she was like, it don't matter because I have got my piece where I needed to or whatever. But she was like, you on the other hand, you have not. And she was like, just because something worked for me doesn't mean that it worked for you. And, of course, he's not going to give no damn apology, and you really don't need it, but you also don't need to carry the burden of everything, that he did, and whatever lies ahead for him, what I'm saying, that's on him for all the stuff he's been doing. So she was like, sometimes facing a person and declaring your truth could really be a big help, or whatever the case may be, but it can't, take anything away or whatever. So she was like, it's up to you. Wanted to just throw it out there, whatever, how you choose to deal with it. And Billy basically was like, I want that. And of course, this is kind of hitting, Darla, right? Because she's thinking about what to face and what to tell everybody about what's going on. So she go ahead and she go in the kitchen, and just leave out as Anva is saying this. And Billy is saying this is something that she thinks she would definitely want and she needs. And so, Anva does make a point of saying, just because it helped me does not mean it may do the same for you. Everyone, comes to their terms in different ways, and there's no right or wrong way to do it, or whatever the case may be, right? They come into it their own time, their own way. And, Billy's like, she completely understands that, right? But she want to see him. She wanted. And they all just kind of hold hands. And I really appreciated seeing this off the side of Anva and having her say that, because that's so true. A lot of times people are like, well, I did it this way, right? I got through it. I moved on with it. And they expect you to be able to do it the same exact way that they do. And that's just not what it is. That's not reality. And so I did really like that Val was saying that to her, right? And kind of comforting her, because we know, and at first Val was blaming her and thinking that it was just a matter of her out here flirting with Jimmy Dell, and then she didn't find out till later that that wasn't the case, and she did apologize for that at the time. And so, when she came in the kitchen, she seen that something was off with, Darla. She like, what's going on, girl? You scaring me. Talk to me. First, Darla was trying to say, it wasn't nothing, that she just needed a minute or whatever, and she could see it was more than that. And so finally, I'm like, girl, tell her, Darla, tell her, okay? Tell her you don't have nothing to freaking be ashamed of and nothing to hide from at this point. So she starts to tell Anva, like, Chase done brung his raggedy behind around, okay? He's been contacting her, whatever the case may be, and he could be, Blue's father, whatever the case may be, right? His biological dad, right? And so Va's like, oh, baby, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you've been going through this or whatever. She was like, Darla was basically saying that she really wanted to tell Ralph Angel, but at the same time, of course, she's scared of what he will do. And she just looked so frantic when she was telling, Va about it. She was like, I'm really worried about, Ralph Angel and where this could lead him to and how he'll feel. She's more worried about that than her own self. And so Va was just telling her, like, I'm so sorry, and she was like, I'm here with you or whatever. And, Darla was saying, like, you face your fear, I should face mine. And again, Va reiterates, like, because she was saying you got to be free, and she was like, I should face mine so I could be free. But Va let her know, like, baby, it's different for everybody. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do, okay? Every situation is different. There's no comparison. Freedom looks different for each of us. And so, Darla basically was like, oh God, and just exhaling for a minute. And she was like, I know that. And she just, didn't even finish her sentence for a minute, had to take a breath. And Va told her, like, look, take your time. Just stay in here for a minute before coming out. Take your time or whatever. You're going to be okay. You're not alone in this. You have us, right? And then Darla told her, okay. And I just wanted to go and give Darla a daggone hug, And so Va goes, back out there to the rest of them, and they left Darla there. So for once, Mr. Cordell, okay, a.k.a. Mr. Grumpy, all right? I ain't even gonna lie. I haven't known this man's name through the whole daggone series, okay? But I always know his behind is usually Grumpy. He get up here and he give a speech, and it actually brought a little bit of tears to my eyes, where he was just saying, like, yo, y'all always have my back. Like, I've been the one that really been against everything that y'all been trying to do. And the fact that Ralph Angel goes so hard, even with, him not having his own farm. And he was like, the way y'all came together for me, I finally understand, I finally see, I finally get it. And he was like, it's nothing like having a board alone as a friend. He said, you have helped me. Your father used to help me and teach me when he was living. And he said, I see now that we are stronger together. I said, okay. And he talking about, I'm just want to say, I'm sorry. Okay, Mr. Grumpy is sorry. I said, okay, Mr. Grumpy, we forgive you. But he was just saying, like, to see them come all together and to help him like this, it means a lot to him. He really appreciated. He's really thankful. Him and Ralph Angel hug it out. And in the meantime, Micah is getting some really beautiful pictures, of them hugging and of just all the work that, they was all doing together and stuff like that. Right now, when we get back to the diner, everybody, because Ralph Angel had told them they could go to lunch, everybody's starting to form around there for lunch. And you got Benny talking to Joaquin for a minute, asking him how his father's doing, saying that his father's actually the one that taught him how to farm. And you had Hollywood coming over and saying thank you for taking that time out to talk to Joaquin. And he's like, sure, no problem. He was like, I know how it is. I don't know what I would have did, growing up or being separated from my dad, and how important it is that men, be in these young boy lives and things of that nature. So now we get to Nova and Billy at the house, and of course, Billy, this has just stirred up a whole bunch of feelings in her, and Nova's checking on her to see how she coming along, how she feeling. She like, this man took so much from me. She was like, he was the first man that ever showed attention to me and actually used to be like acting like he, was the first one to support me and believe in me at the time. And she said he used to actually call her Billy D. Esquire, and she loved it. It made her feel so good. And she didn't realize it, of course, until later, that this was all about, him just basically being a predator or whatever, right? And him finding a way to, kind of try to groom her, whatever the case may be, right? And so she was like, there's so many words that she want to say to him, and, she's been practicing this speech forever, and she always knew what she would say when she would see him, and she been waiting for this time, and she was like, it's not fair for him to get off easy or for him to have any type of peace. And so Nova was telling her, like, I doubt very much he's going to have peace, girl, okay? That's not how karma works. That's not how, just the earth and, the presence and life and stuff like that works, right? Believe me, he isn't having anything but a daggone, easy time. And so, she was like, don't even worry yourself with that. And she told her, say it to me, say whatever you was going to say to him, to me, vent it out, girl. Okay, let it out, let it flow, child. And so she was like, you're a thief. You took everything from me. You took my dignity, you took my dreams, you took my light, you took, my truth, my trust. And she was like, you just took everything. And she said, you could go ahead and rot in damn hell, okay? You don't get to do that to me. You don't get to and not pay for it. You're going to have to pay one way or damn another, right? You are going to pay for it. You hear me? And she basically was like, you don't deserve to see me. You don't deserve what you took from me. And, she just like screamed really hell, like I hope, really loud, I should say, I hope you rot in hell. And that was such a moment right there, baby. Okay, she acted that daggone part out. Nova walks over to her and gives her a big hug or whatever after she, said her piece with that. And so then we had, Darla come to the diner at this part looking for Ralph Angel, asking Micah where he is, asking anybody if they see him. She like, so he just snuck away. And Micah finally tells her what happened, and that he saw Chase and all of that, right? He's like, he told me not to say nothing, but I gotta say something. So, of course she's get worried and she's ready to go look for him. And Anva and Hollywood is like, what's going on? And she tells Micah, tell them. And so then he lets them know, and Hollywood comes with Darla. Of course the first place they go to is the farm, but Ralph Angel's not there. So at this point, Darla's blaming herself and saying she don't deserve him. Hollywood was saying like, well, where would he go? What does he normally do? She was like, he don't do nothing. He do what he got to do with his family. He comes here. He worries about the farm. We know the places that he normally be at, right? And we knows what he normally do. And she was like, I messed up so bad. And I basically have told him lies or kept things from him, right? And it's just made things worse. And he was like, well, y'all both have kept things from each other, and that's not good no matter what. Of course, communication is the key. But she was just being really, really hard on herself. And he was letting her know, like, don't do that. He was like, you have been good for him. He has been good for you. Y'all have been there for each other. He was like, outside of Rough Angel, I'm the person that probably knows you the most. And I know how down and bad you were when I found you. And trust me, I've been praying for you every single day, from then till now, and I will continue to do that. I will always do that. And he was like, I've seen the change that you have done, so don't you dare stand there, and beat yourself up or give up on yourself or whatever the case may be, right? Because you are doing the daggone thing. You've been standing on your own, and I seen you really go through all the hard stuff till now, and you've made it, better for yourself or whatever the case may be. And so she was like, I know. She was basically like, I just needed to hear that. And then she gets a text and she comes to find out that Ralph Angel is over at the pool, where we first seen them in episode 1 with her trying to teach him how to swim. So she get over there and he's sitting by the pool, and she come up to him like, don't you think we should talk about, what happened last night, okay, and get into this. And he was like, are you ready to talk now, basically, and so she was saying she's sorry, and he was like, don't you ever apologize, you don't have to apologize for what this daggone man did to you. He was like, all I know is I looked in the eyes of a man last night that looks just like Blue, okay? And he do, like I said the last time, they picked somebody really good, because he looked how Blue would look, when he grow up. And again, she's asking like, well, what happened last night? What's going on or whatever the case may be, right? And he was like, this is the man that assaulted my wife. This is the man that could be my child's father. If Michael didn't stop me, I probably would have killed him. And he was like, with no remorse or whatever, and he was like, parts of me wish that I did. And so she just was like, I should have warned you. I should have told you what was going on. But, I didn't think that he would come here. I didn't think that I was going to have to face him in this way. And, she was like, I'm so sorry that I kept this from you. When it happened 2 weeks ago. And he was like, 2 weeks ago? She was like, yeah. She gave him the whole breakdown about how she was in DC and that so-called friend saw her, whatever the case may be, and Blue together. So he was like, well, what about Blue? 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 Okay, he was pissed. And he was like, I'm not going to have this man come and act like he damn Blue daddy or like he want to take him from me. I'm not going to go for that. And so she was like, that's not happening. They would never give a rapist a damn baby. He was like, let's be real here, girl, the dollar, okay? The Lord does not see him as a damn rapist, okay? So how the hell would they stop him from being a daddy? And she said, look, the rage you feeling, I have felt those for years. I've been angry as hell. I've wanted to kill him. Like, don't get it twisted, all right? And she was like, I can't do that, and neither can you. I've been there, but I won't do it, and I won't let you do it either. She says she could be anything with him by her side, and basically if she even had to go forward, or she had to go on the stand, or she had to go on the TV, or she had to go to the newspaper, and all his friends and his boss and his wife, then she would do that and tell the truth if it meant, keeping him away from Blue. She don't give a good goddamn, okay? And he was like, I love you, darling, but you didn't even want, Nova to come out with the damn book or whatever. Do you really think you could go in a public eye and face that? And she was like, yes, okay, I do. All right, let me stop. So I was like, okay, so I know that's right, you know what I'm saying? And she said, I have nothing to lose. All right, I have nothing to lose with you by my side. And he was like, well, I'ma always be by your side. That's not even a question. I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna be here. All right, we gonna rock together. I said, I know that's right. Y'all better rock on. Okay. So she said she was gonna call him, and they gonna go ahead and get this together. So I said, okay, darling, let's see what's gonna happen here. We got Miss, Vi, Aunt Vi in Hollywood, chilling with the boys. They about to have breakfast. They get a knock, 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 knock at the door. And it is their daddy. And of course, they are so ecstatic and so happy to see him. Aunt Vi said, get on in here. He said, he couldn't call or get through on his call because the towers was down. They tell him that there's more than enough breakfast. Sit down and eat with them, And he was like, "Are y'all sure?" And they was like, "Absolutely." And so they all got had to sit down to eat. Now, in the meantime, Nova and Billy over here talking. I said, "Billy, why is your feet up on the table, girl? That was disturbing me. We don't put our feet on the table." They eating sunflower seeds or whatever, and they just talking about how, Nova been wanting some damn onions and grilled cheese, baby, okay? And apparently that makes her think about Camille, who was this first love, that was the summer that changed everything. And she was like, "Girl, are you just thinking about them onions, or are you thinking about Camille too?" She said, "Why don't you go ahead and hit her up?" Remember, this is like the second conversation they having about her. They had talked about her before, at the bar. She said, "Since you over here facing things and moving on with things, and you did what you did with Calvin, why not go ahead and face it and have this conversation, with her?" She was like, "Maybe it's still coming up because there's some unresolved business there that you need to handle, girl, okay?" And so, she was like, what could it hurt to call? You know what I mean? It could really be good too. And then it's not like you want anything from her. You're in love with Dominique. You got what you got with him. You handled the situation with Calvin, but it would just really be good for y'all to be able to talk as the woman you are now, as opposed to the woman that you were. Okay. So Nova was like, "Excuse me, Oprah." Okay. Or Ayana. Matter of fact, that's what she says, "Excuse me, Miss Ayana." Okay. And she started laughing and basically was like, "Well, maybe I will take your advice," and Billy over here talking about, "You welcome, beloved," all right? And then she gonna spit the damn sunflower seeds out of her mouth and was like, "I think I better pick these up. We not in the house before my daddy kill me." I said, "Yeah, pick them up and get your damn feet off the table," okay? So in the meantime, Michael looking through these pictures, which those pictures really came out really beautiful, and he get a text from Zane that said, "My bad on your credit card. Send me some disaster porn pics and let's make some dollars." Excuse me, Zane? Yo, Micah, you need to get some Ralph Angel up in you at this point and go beat on Zayn ass. I'm tired of him. And then you're gonna call the storm that they just went through, not even knowing if he's okay or his family is okay, disaster porn? The freaking audacity. And you talking about my bad on the credit card. Are you sending me money? Like, how you talking about making more money with me when you haven't even paid me back for the first damn money you spent? Is your server up now? Get the hell up out of here. So anyway, Micah pays him dust. He continues to look at the pictures, and he go ahead and end up calling his mom and gives her an apology. He let her know it's a well overdue damn phone call. It goes to voicemail. He don't get her, and he's telling her that they are all okay. That all okay. They made it through the storm, and that he's just really sorry. He don't know what the hell was on his mind. He made a big mistake. He was reaching above his damn head, trying to fit in or whatever the case may be, getting lost in the moment. He said it's been a rough day, a rough few days, but he really just needed to go ahead and let her know that he knows that what he did was not cool, and that he should have been freaking, called or answered her, whatever the case may be, and that he just, sorry that he hurt her and dad in the way that he did or whatever, right? And he was like, I'm just was a freaking idiot, and, maybe I just basically wanted to try to get make noise, and I got caught up in it or whatever. So I said, "Okay, Micah, you could have done a little bit better than that, but we'll take it for now." So moving on from that, we had Joaquin's dad just saying thank you to Vaughn and them, and saying that they set him up with this hotel for a couple of weeks, so he gonna go ahead and stay there. He really want to spend time with the boys by himself. Joaquin was saying, bye all sad, and Vi was like, "Listen, you ain't getting off that easy or getting away from me that easy. I'ma still see you at the damn diner, okay? I still expect you to be there for work." His little brother telling Hollywood, and I still want to work with you on True North, and he was like, "Look, I'ma hold you to it. You better." So when they was leaving, Hollywood was just saying, "I'm so happy for them that they got their dad back and that it worked out." And he was, Vi was saying this is hard or whatever, and he was like, "Yeah, I know, but we did know that basically, this day would come. We actually prayed for it." And she was like, "I know, but I didn't know it was going to hurt this much." I said, "I know, Vi. I know, baby. Okay. But you and Hollywood are so sweet, and y'all are such a blessing. And it's so good, to see that be a happy story, because we know sometimes it's just not." And so moving on from that, Nova actually does go. She sees Camille coming out from this daggone, I guess this is her restaurant or bar, whatever. And she's like, Camille, as she's bringing out some trash from there. And she stopped like, Nova, like, girl, what you doing here? You know what I'm saying? And she put her boxes and stuff down that she was bringing out. And she's just like, wow, you look good. Like, of course she wasn't expecting to see her, and Nova telling her she looked good, and like, it's been a long time, okay, since I left you. But they saying how it's been long since they seen each other. They didn't think they would see each other again. And she was like, I'm sorry, I heard about your dad passed. And she was like, he actually used to come by quite often, here and there, and check on me and my, I think she said, ex-wife. And she was like, this is just so weird because I was just thinking about you, being as though Billy had liked one of her posts. And she was like, oh, she did she? And she was like, yeah. But she was telling her how her dad would stop by from time to time and actually check on her, and gave her Nova's number before, said she was living in New Orleans, said for her to, hit her up, but she never did. And she was like, really? She's like, wow, what I'm saying? He never told me that. I never even knew that he would come by and see you or gave you my number or any of that stuff, right? I wonder why he didn't mention it. She was like, but yet you never called. So she was like, no, to be honest, I didn't think, that you would want to hear from me. And Nova was like, well, I wish you would have. And she said, well, can I give you my number now? Like, if I give you my number now, will you call? And she said, yeah. So she ends up writing her number on, Nova wrote her number on Camille's hand. She was like, do you got a pen? And she was like, are you going to call me this time? And Camille was like, yeah. So when Nova got in the car, she was like, oh, I gave her my number. I was like, okay, Nova, like, you know what I mean? Are we getting excited? Are we trying to rekindle something with Camille? And I can't think of her name right now, but I love her, and I know she plays on 911. So it was good to see her there. So we get to, Mr. Chase walking up in here, right? All smile, seeing Darla standing there, and he thinking he about to just come in here and talk to her by himself, I guess, and persuade her, one way or another, honey. But when he walked all the way in, Ralph Angel was walking in right behind his ass, okay? And he started out the conversation trying to be like, this has all been a misunderstanding. Of course, he's glad to see her with the big smile, from ear to ear. And she was like, look, yeah, I'm glad that we finally get to have this talk, because we do need to get, set some things straight, or whatever the case may be. I see that you have already met my husband or whatever, right? And Ralph was saying, you still haven't learned your lesson. And he was like, look, I don't want no trouble. And Ralph was telling him to shut up. He was like, shut the hell up now. Then you got Aunt Va and Hollywood walking in from the back. And, Aunt Va said, you better follow these instructions that you've been given. And so Darla starts to tell him, this is my family. You met my husband, Ralph Angel, already, okay? Excuse me. She said, he's here to make sure you don't hurt me. Hollywood is here to make sure you don't hurt him. And, I mean, Ralph Angel is here to make sure you don't hurt me. Hollywood is here to stop him from killing you and Violet, and then Vi was just like, me, I'm just here, I'm actually the unknown quantity. You don't know what's going to happen with me, right? And so he was like, all of this isn't necessary. He was like, I didn't come for all of this. I'm a reasonable man. He says, I want the same thing. I'm just trying to protect my family, my career, and that's it, right? And she said, then why did you keep calling me, harassing me when I was telling you not to? He said, to make sure we're on the same page. She was like, bullshit, you was trying to intimidate me. Why did you go to St. Joseph's? He said, to make sure all of this could go away. So I wanted to talk to you, or whatever the case may be, right? And to give you this. And he basically ends up pulling out this NDA for her to sign. And she said, I'm not signing that. I'm not signing anything. She says, as a matter of fact. And she threw her folder up on the table. She said, we ain't going to do no NDA. We going to do a little bit more than that. And he was like, what is this? He was like, paternity rights. He was like, yo, I told you about that. He's not mine any damn way. This is a misunderstanding. I didn't do anything wrong. And so he said, we don't need a paternity test. She was like, oh, then you can forego and go ahead and sign all the paternity rights away and sign everything else. So he was like, gladly, he go ahead and sign that. And she was like, and then behind that one, go ahead, keep flipping, okay? Behind that, we have a protective order or whatever. So saying that you keep away from me and my son, and a civil harassment. So then he was like, no, 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 no. I keep telling you it's not. She was like, why do you keep saying that? She was like, you're a liar and a rapist. And he said, I did not do that. And I wasn't the only one. He yelled when he said that. And Ralph Angel got on that ass, and Hollywood had to go ahead and, pull him back. And Ralph Angel said, watch your damn mouth. So, Hollywood told him, we're just here to support, Darla, and to be here for her, okay, chill. And so Von Voss said, nobody like you here, baby, okay? Go ahead, finish up that paperwork so you can leave out here in one piece, okay? So he look up at Enval, whatever, and then he go back and he signed the daggone next, set of papers or whatever, right? And then she says, the next one was like a civil restraining agreement, right? And she said that you will stay away from me or whatever, right? My children and my family. And, it's a stay away order, whatever, in some states. So he signed that one. Then she say, and finally, the last page is basically where, wire instructions where you will leave a very large donation, okay, to the Black Farmers Co-op. So he was like, wait a minute, hold up, 250,000 initial payment and 25,000 for 10 years. He was like, that comes up to $3 million damn dollars. I know you freaking lying, you crazy. He was like, I ain't signing that. So she was like, well, then you want it to be a national story. Which one you want, boo? You want your life, or you want to go ahead and do this? Because it will be out there by the end of the damn week. And he was, and if you miss any payment at any time in any month, then it's gonna be out there, okay? Look for me. I said, I know that's right, Darla. Okay, girl, take back your power. And he says, wow, you really gonna tell on yourself? And she said, out myself, tell on myself. She was like, I didn't do anything wrong. I don't give a damn what I was wearing. I was a young woman. I don't give a damn what I was drinking. I was in a social situation, and I trusted the people that I was with, and they took a damn advantage of me. Now what? Okay, you raped me, period, point blank. And it doesn't matter what I was doing, how I was drunk, none of that. Drugs, whatever. Dancing, anything that you would suggest, okay? So basically, he just was standing there. She was like, you did what you did. And then he gonna be like, how you gonna, she told him he was gonna pay one way or another. He said, how you gonna prove it, baby? Didn't they start playing that recording back? Why did you rape me? Why did you rape me? I didn't rape you. I wasn't the only one. Everything that he said when he first came in was on tape. They played that bad boy right back for him, and all of them was just looking. I said, I know that is right, baby. Okay, get him. All right, that's how we like to do it. And Ralph Angel was like, yeah, looking like, say one more word. Say one more word. Okay, I'm going to be on that ass. So he was like, all right, let me just sign this. All right. I say, yeah, Chase, sign in with your raggedy ass and get the hell up out of here. Okay, we don't got time for you. We don't want you here no more. And Zala was like, you can go now. Sorry, now I'll see you later. Goodbye. Good riddance. Good luck. Okay. And he went ahead and walked his raggedy behind up out of there. And that was basically the episode, y'all. Just the way I like it, okay? Just the way I like it. Y'all tell me what y'all thought about this one. Put it in the comments, okay? Like, comment, share, subscribe. If you were so inclined, give me a wave. Let me know you came by. Put some flames up in the sky. All right, y'all. Till next time. Toodaloo.